The Battle of Cannae took place in the summer of 216 BCE, on the open plains near the small village of Cannae in southern Italy, and it remains one of the most devastating and brilliantly executed battles in military history, representing a clash, not just of armies but of intelligence versus sheer force. Rome, humiliated by earlier defeats at the hands of Hannibal at the Trebia River and Lake Trasimene, was desperate to restore its honor and end the Carthaginian threat once and for all. The Roman Senate responded by raising the largest army the Republic had ever assembled, nearly 86,000 men, a massive force of heavy infantry packed tightly together and supported by cavalry. It's confident that overwhelming numbers would finally crush Hannibal. Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian commander, faced them with a smaller and more diverse army of around 50,000 men, including experienced African infantry, fierce Iberian swordsmen, Gallic warriors, and highly mobile Numidian cavalry. And while many Roman commanders saw this numerical imbalance as a clear advantage, Hannibal saw it as the foundation for a deadly trap. Hannibal carefully selected the battlefield near the Aufidus River, where the flat terrain favored cavalry movement, and environmental conditions such as wind and dust would blow toward the Roman lines, subtly weakening them. When the armies formed for battle, Hannibal arranged his forces in an unconventional way, placing his weakest troops, the Gauls and Iberians, in the center in a deliberately curved formation that bulged outward toward the Romans, while positioning his strongest and most disciplined African infantry on the flanks, angled slightly inward and held back, with his superior cavalry divided on the wings. The Roman commanders, Lucius, Aemilius, Paulus, and Gaius, Terentius Varro, confident in their numerical superiority, ordered their infantry to advance in a dense, deep formation designed to punch straight through Hannibal's center, believing that once the Carthaginian line broke, the battle would be over. As the fighting began, the Roman infantry pushed forward with immense pressure, and Hannibal's center appeared to give way, slowly retreating step by step, which only increased Roman confidence, as they believed they were witnessing the collapse of the enemy. However, this retreat was not a sign of weakness, but a carefully controlled maneuver, as Hannibal's central troops gradually fell back while maintaining formation, drawing the Roman mass deeper and deeper into the narrowing space. As the Roman army surged forward, its formation became compressed and crowded, reducing its ability to maneuver or react. At the same time, the fighting on the flanks unfolded very differently, as Hannibal's cavalry quickly defeated the Roman horsemen, particularly on one wing, where the Carthaginian cavalry achieved a swift and decisive victory, then rode behind the Roman infantry, cutting off any chance of retreat. With the Roman cavalry gone, Hannibal's African infantry on both flanks pivoted inward, attacking the Romans from the sides with disciplined precision, transforming the battle into a complete double envelopment. Within hours, the Roman army found itself surrounded on all sides, trapped in a tightening ring of enemy soldiers with no escape. What followed was not a traditional battle, but a prolonged and horrific slaughter, as the densely packed Roman soldiers were unable to move, flee, or even fight effectively, crushed together so tightly that many could barely raise their weapons. Panic spread as the realization of entrapment took hold. Discipline collapsed, and formations disintegrated under relentless Carthaginian pressure. For hours, Hannibal's forces methodically cut down Roman soldiers where they stood, while the cries of the wounded and dying echoed across the plain. By the end of the day, more than 70,000 Roman soldiers lay dead, including a large portion of Rome's nobility and senior officers, while another 10,000 were captured, making Cannae the worst military defeat in Roman history. Hannibal had achieved the impossible, annihilating a vastly larger army through superior planning, patience, and tactical brilliance, and his use of the double envelopment maneuver at Cannae became one of the most studied strategies in military history, later admired and analyzed by commanders such as Napoleon, and taught in modern military academies. Despite the scale of the disaster, Rome refused to surrender, choosing endurance over collapse. While Hannibal, though victorious beyond measure, lacked the reinforcements and resources needed to march on Rome itself, allowing the war to continue. For many more years, until it ultimately ended in Rome's favor. Even so, the Battle of Cannae remains immortal as a timeless lesson that numbers alone do not win wars, and that intelligence, adaptability, and strategic vision can destroy even the mightiest force. Proving that on that single day in 216 BCE, Hannibal Barca did not merely defeat a Roman army, but forever changed the understanding of warfare itself.